for Sunday's Tooheys 1000. In the dying moments of the race's first unofficial practice, the young Queenslander flew from behind to head German Klaus Niedzwitz and defending champ Dick Johnson.
Conditions for the opening round of practice were far from ideal, but the pace was on from the start as Dick Johnson and Peter Brock started the big sight for pole position. The laconic Queenslander fired a 2-minute 18.7 lap to top the crop, while Mark Scaife in Nissan's new GTR Express was only a whisker behind and delighted with the car's potential.
The car's good and we'll just work our way slowly at it. The car will go very quick.
If Scaife was planning on a trouble-free day, it didn't eventuate as he locked up a brake and then tested the runoff area. He wasn't alone either, as George Fury had a moment or two in the Sierra. Teenager Tim Grunt just couldn't decide which line was the right one. The second session saw a determined effort from John Bow, but it was Klaus Niedzwitz who cranked out the best time of the day, only to be beaten by Tony Longhurst with a low 2-minute 16-second lap, the moral victor on day one.
We're confident that if we can be sensible tomorrow and would like to still lead the pack, or be right up towards the front of the grid tomorrow, and we'll give it a good run in Tooheys Top Gun, and we'll see how we go in the race then.
Official time practice commences tomorrow, and there is every indication the Bathurst record book will be rewritten this weekend. Mike Raymond, 7 Nightly News.
Has led to some sizzling times in today's first official practice at the mountain, with Tony Longhurst again setting the pace. But with the extra speed came some extra mayhem and a night of panel beating for Peter Brock.
While perfect conditions prevailed for qualifying, traffic congestion was at a premium. Rouse became the first casualty when he came into contact with Matt Wacker's Sierra and then two-wheeled the Brock car into the guardrail. The car was extensively damaged in the shunt, though Rouse claims there was nothing he could do to avoid the wall.
I mean, it happened so quickly anyway, you know, the only thought was to try and save the car, but I mean, there just wasn't enough space to do that.
The accident has put Brock's pole pursuit back at least a day, with the machine now unlikely to be back on track before late tomorrow. It was a day of near misses on the mount. This lose by Wyn Percy in front of teammate Neil Crompton causing cardiac arrest to Holden executives. Brian Callaghan also got around sideways. George Fury did too, while the lusty Commodore actually straightened out the turns. Nissan again experienced troubles with one car sidelined and the other obviously suffering brake problems, though Richards was credited with 5th fastest. Hero of the day once again was Tony Longhurst in the B&8 Sierra, an all-time fastest lap of 2:13.8, and he reckons he'll go even faster tomorrow.
It puts pressure on the other teams to try to improve their cars and get down to our times.
Seaton, Niedzwitz and Johnson trail in the early rush for pole, with Perkins Holden 7th on the road. Mike Raymond at Bathurst, 7 Nightly News. In the pace for the past 2 days, Tony Longhurst could afford the luxury of sending teammate Alan Jones to the crease this morning. The ploy worked superbly as Jones took over the second Benson and Hedges Sierra and immediately equalled his team leader's fastest lap to effectively give the Queensland squad the front row till at least tomorrow.
Yeah, well, the cars are great. You know, I mean, they're handling really well and they're just doing everything right. So, of course, it makes it a lot easier for me.
There were some big improvers today. Dick Johnson rattled off a 2 minutes 14.2 lap to be 3rd fastest, dropping Glenn Seaton from the front to the 2nd row. Peter Brock reappeared early in the rebuilt Mobile Sierra to claim 5th, with Larry Perkins the next fastest in the booming V8 Holden Commodore. Overseas runners Niedzwitz, Giudone and Brancatelli trailed the Commodore, with Wyn Percy making the top 10, but at the expense of the new high-tech Nissan, which is being beset with troubles. The only driver to strike qualifying problems was Brian Callaghan Jr., who unfortunately zigged when he should have zagged. Tomorrow's top 10 pole runoff should be a thriller as the countdown to Sunday's great race continues. Mike Raymond at Bathurst for 7 Nightly News.